The very first former Vancouver Titans player has finally found a new home. Slime to the Seoul Dynasty. It figures this move would happen while I'm asleep. Kinda sucks, but better late than never, I suppose, am I right? So, from the general standpoint of how I feel about this move, I'm very happy that the Seoul Dynasty acquired Slime, as I personally have believed for a while now that main support was their biggest weakness. No disrespect to Toby, I just think that he's kind of average at best. He's a good Lucio, but everything else is just okay, I suppose. But somebody like Slime, he's a top tier main support player, so this is a really big upgrade. I'm sure for some Seoul supporters, this signing will feel a little bit awkward at first, just because Slime was part of the team that destroyed Seoul on like 3 different occasions last year, but if you're a Dynasty fan, this is a signing you will eventually welcome with open arms if you don't right from the start. Slime pretty much rounds out a roster that's really good everywhere else for the most part, maybe except for off-tank because things have been kind of weird there this year, but other than that, you're pretty happy about where Seoul sits now. It might not happen right away because he needs to develop some synergy and better teamwork with his new teammates, but I believe that eventually Slime will raise this team to a new level. My hope is that the Seoul Dynasty will play less of that passive playstyle they're known for now that Slime is there, and he'll have a more commanding presence that gets the team to play more aggressively. And you know what? That's exactly what he said in his little welcome video over on Twitter. Let me read out exactly what he said to you guys as to why he joined the Seoul Dynasty. To start, Slime said the reason, or at least one of the reasons I should say, why he joined the Seoul Dynasty was because he feels they're the team that is currently closest to his goal, which is to win a championship. As a bonus, he feels that playing in his home country would be really awesome, and I'm sure most players from South Korea would love to be in Slime's position as well. Slime then goes on to say how he believes he can make this team better. He starts by addressing the fact that the Seoul Dynasty have a safer playstyle, and that with him joining the team, he will try and make them play more aggressively from here on out. And that's literally the exact response I was looking for. That is wonderful. I'm so glad Slime is motivated to help change this team in any way he can. He wants to be a leader right from day one, and that is something I can respect. He knows he has what it takes to make this team better because of his previous success. Now it all really depends on how well his new teammates accept him. If the rest of the Seoul roster lets this guy do what he needs to, then I for one think this could be a very beneficial relationship for both parties. If the Dynasty can figure it out from the teamwork perspective, they are going to be very hard to stop, because on paper they are ridiculously talented, and adding Slime onto the roster only adds on to the wealth. A core of Prophet, Slime, Gesture, Badoshin, and Marvel sounds really amazing, and I'm really excited to see what this team can pull off. Hopefully they're not a disappointment like previous Seoul teams. Before I end the video, I just wanted to quickly talk about Toby again because some people are probably curious about what his role could be on this team moving forward. So, after Slime gets totally comfortable with this new Seoul team, I'm not quite sure if Toby's going to start anymore. Like, for all we know, he could be benched for the rest of his career. But looking at it from a positive note, there is a possibility he ends up becoming a map specialist, if you will, kind of like some of the other players on specific teams we see. Maybe he'll be the main support version of Logix and we'll see him come in on control maps. There's also the possibility that Seoul needs Toby for specific strategies that they want to run, so keep your head up if you love Toby. There's still a chance he could play. Is it likely? Well, I'm going to say probably not, just because Slime is amazing and he's so well-rounded, but you never know. My one hope is that Toby's feelings aren't hurt too much from the team getting another main support player. After all, the Dynasty did try and pursue him during free agency when there was a chance he might have left alongside Jae-Hong, so he might feel a little betrayed by this. He was the only main support player on the roster to start off this season, so he might have felt like he was finally the guy and that he was in control, and that Seoul totally trusted him, but now they kind of took that trust and gave it to somebody else. This in turn could also affect Toby's confidence, because that could be a sign to him that he's just not good enough and that Seoul feels there are better options out there. In Season 1, he was the main support player for a good amount of time, but they did try and put in Gambler here and there. Then in Season 2, they signed Jexay, and while Toby would end up being the consistent starter at the end of the season, Jexay early on was the person to get a lot of playtime. It's the same thing every single year for this guy. Seoul constantly is trying to get people to replace him. I kind of feel bad for the guy in a way. He can't catch a break, but I'm praying that this wasn't the final straw for him and that he doesn't go into this fit of depression or sadness, because he needs to understand that this was a great opportunity for the Seoul Dynasty. The Vancouver Titans recently broke up and Slime is interested in joining your team. That's an offer you do not reject. Given how close this Seoul team is to being seriously amazing, this is an opportunity you have to go about taking, you know? This isn't the only thing that Seoul needs to work on though. Main support wasn't their only issue by a long shot. They've got to work on their issues at the off-tank position potentially. They have to become a better Echo team, and in general, they need to learn how to become more consistent. If Toby understands this, then I think everything is going to be fine between him and the rest of the organization. After all, if Slime does end up being the difference maker on this team, then Toby will finally be very close to winning a championship for the Seoul Dynasty after 3 years of chasing it. Well, that's pretty much going to do it. Those are my thoughts on Toby joining the Seoul Dynasty. I am very excited to see what he can do for his new team and how they will perform moving forward. So that's going to do it. If you guys enjoyed this content, I would appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And don't forget to let me know what you think of Toby joining the Seoul Dynasty and who you think might be joining a new team from that former Vancouver Titans roster next. And as always, thanks so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.